It's been a couple months since we got our V8 Falcon back on the road, and you gotta be wondering, why is this bloody thing back on ramps again so soon? Now look, since we got the marketplace exhaust in the last video, the exhaust note just wouldn't cut it for us. So we decided we'd better do something about it. After scrolling through some local E-Series groups, we struck gold. A custom 3-inch stainless catback, custom made quality mufflers, best part, all for $100. And it was definitely a step up in sound.
Give it a little bit.
This is the first time our cars truly sounded like a small block V8, but we weren't finished yet.
Just when we thought our luck couldn't get any better, we found a set of Advance headers locally designed and made in our heartland of South Australia for the low price of $200. This then allowed us to turn our attention to one of the biggest bottlenecks of early air-fired Windsors, the stock headers. After trying our luck with vinegar bathing the headers to dissolve the rust, which surprisingly works well.
Vinegar bath is underway.
We then spray painted the headers with a grey high temp paint to give them that new look. At this point, it was safe to say, this was going to be no small upgrade, especially when comparing the Advance headers to the restricted stock ones, which included smaller diameter piping, tight bends, and nasty kinks in the merger. After the tedious process of installing the headers, they look great.
Tight as.
But this did leave us with one glaring issue: no Y pipe to suit.
So now we had to run the gauntlet. Drive the car straight out the headers to the exhaust shop, as sketchy as it was. Don't get me wrong, for the price fabrication wasn't all that bad, but one welder's mistake almost made us regret this massive upgrade.
Guys, this is not good.
Unfortunately, as you can probably tell, that is an exhaust leak from our freshly made Y pipe. Between me and Thomas, we could not find any time during work hours to take it back to the exhaust shop and get it fixed, which left us with only one option: removing it and fixing it ourselves.
Let's talk through this disassembly process. First of all, we had to remove the middle bolts holding the Y pipe onto our catback section. As you can see here, it was quite the tricky task to say the least.
Tell everyone what's wrong, Brody.
I have my head stuck.
Next is the nuts and bolts holding the flanges onto the headers themselves. This is quite the time-consuming task, but having the car on ramps greatly helped us with having a little bit more clearance under that car. Thankfully, we did manage to get there in the end.
Let's get a little bit of support under this. I'm coming!
Yes.
Alrighty, guys. And with that, she's off.
Winner.
Whoa, it's not good. These are some hungry caterpillars on these. Look at this. Holes everywhere. I mean, second graders, I just keep swearing. I cannot keep a composed level with this thing, bro. Look at this. What is that? That's terrible. Look at that.
Believe it or not, guys, the welds were so terrible. A simple hammer and chisel was actually able to knock off some of the beads.
Alrighty guys, so because this exhaust has got so many problems with it, we've decided to tape up the ends here with just some duct tape, and we're just going to do a bit of a pressure test, run some soapy water around these welds and kind of see where these leaks are coming from, because honestly, looking at it, we don't know where to start. We could just re-weld the whole bloody thing. So this is the best way to kind of determine what is the actual problem and how we can best tackle it.
Talk us through it all, Brody.
So basically, I'm just doing it like any other gas installation. So all you do is tape up all the ends, make sure you're relatively sealed off in our case. We're not checking for absolute pressure at the moment. But what we're doing is we're just going through. We're going to spray a little bit of soapy water on the ends, blow through it, and with the soapy water it should bubble up if there's any kind of leak. So we'll just run this around the edges here, around the edges of each weld. And this will give us kind of an idea if we've got any leaks, which I know we do. I'll just give it a little rub around and all that, just so the soap's around everywhere. And then we're just going to blow into it just kind of gently and let the soapy stuff do its work. All right, let's give it a go. Wow, looks like we found a few leaks already. So straight away, leak right here. So we've got some kind of pinhole here that we're going to have to sort out. We had a leak back over in this corner. I don't know if she'll blow back up, but yeah, definitely a big leak there. And on the other side of it.
And on the back of here too, big one.
Big one on the back there. Oh, well, it looks like we've got our work cut out for us there. So at least we know where to start. It's pretty much everywhere. So
Now it's time to clean up these welds. First, we tried hitting them with a simple wire wheel to expose some of the metal under the paint. It was making some progress, but not anywhere near fast enough. We had to bring out the big guns. Out came the grinder to tackle the larger beads. With a bit of elbow grease, it made short work of the absolute mess the exhaust shop had made. Now, since I'm a bit of a novice in terms of the welding side of things, I'll let Brody take this one away.
alright guys, so before we get too carried away with grinding all these welds back, I decided it was a good idea to tack the inside of the pipe to the exhaust flange, just in case we grind off too much around the outside and knock the exhaust flange off. I also discovered the inside of the flange and exhaust pipe came together really rough and left a gap around the internal pipe for gases to create undesirable turbulence, which affects performance and sound quality. So I also decided to put a small weld around the inside of the pipe to seal off the gaps. Next up was finishing off the grinding process. I started with a thick disc and worked my way across the bottom of the flange towards the centre, eating away at the mega beads left behind at the crime scene.
No good!
After slightly going back over the exhaust with a flat disc just to clean up the edges, I then jumped back onto the welder to lay down some of my not so best work. The last time I got to really practice welding was in high school, so these welds were turning out a little far from perfect. But that's okay, because that can easily be fixed with a little love from the grinder. My main concern was just getting a good fusion around the exhaust and fixing up the leaks. Unfortunately, by this point, Thomas had to leave to do some other things, so it was just me left to finish off this exhaust.
Alrighty, so now it is time to deburr all these edges. I've just got myself a little Dremel down here. Let's get into it. So I just finished up with my Dremel on this on the front flanges here. As you can see, I've just kind of bezeled out the edges there, just kind of give it a smooth entry into the exhaust. Oh, come here. And yeah, same thing. So still got a little bit left of cleaning up to do on this one, but the beveled edge is definitely there. You can see it. So it's not much, but you know, a little bit of improvement. Always looks good, and hopefully makes it sound a little bit smoother too. See how we go. Alright guys, so it's time to paint. So just got to hang it up ready to go. Everything's already done. So the choice of paints, we got the Raptor Flameproof and also the Raptor Primer. Let's see how we go.
To start the painting process, I first used some masking tape to cover the rear of the exhaust flange and the front two flanges, making sure the free mating surfaces on the exhaust are not exposed to any overspray. I then applied some Raptor exhaust primer to the exposed welds around the flanges and the surrounding areas, which had some exposed still, making sure to apply a nice thick coat to cover any unpainted areas to avoid rust developing in the future. After letting the primer dry until it was slightly tacky, I then went over the prime surfaces with the black exhaust paint. Alright, all painted up. It's looking bloody good. So I've just put the Raptor coating, the black coating all around it, just to kind of freshen up everything, not only just the welds.
but she's come up pretty bloody nice, so pretty stoked with that. Next thing to do is obviously take off the tape, get her ready and chuck it back on the car. After the tedious process of finally reinstalling the exhaust, which I might add was a massive nightmare, we finally got to hear what all that hard work sounded like.
Now, after all that repair work, we can finally say we have a mean sounding 302 with no shortcuts taken. Deep idle, no rasp, and most importantly, no drone. And let's be honest, it's how every 302 should sound. You tell us what you think. If you've been chasing good sound on yours without rinsing your paycheck, this is your sign. Stick around, we've got some more budget chaos coming your way soon.